I have the honor of having Cyrus Shepard with us. He is a veteran in the SEO field. Cyrus, it's 2026. What should be the mindset of search engine optimization specialist? How should they plan their SEO strategy or their search strategies for 2026 and beyond?
Okay, so great question. I think the biggest mind shift is Google can create articles at will now with Gemini. So what SEOs need to do is create things that Gemini can't do or ChatGPT can't do. And that's first party information, data, human perspectives, opinions. If you can recreate your article with AI, that's not going to do it. You can see examples of that winning, but going forward, it's just not going to win. So we need to bring first person perspective into our content.
Do you think there is a necessary FOMO regarding ChatGPT or LLM ranking within the industry?
The funny thing is, these AI platforms can produce really good articles, right? And I look at some of them and they deserve to rank. But with Google especially, there's a bias against that, at least for now, because why would they reward that when they can do it themselves? So they're really looking for sources of information, things that they can cite, things that they can support. And that's kind of our job to give that to them.
What do you think is the top 3 factors that are driving visibility across LLMs?
So great question. I just did a huge analysis of all these LLM ranking factors for citations. And it's interesting because the top 2 align with organic visibility. All the attention we're putting into LLMs and citations, the number 1 spot to be for the most traffic is still ranking number 1 organically. And that correlates to AI citations. If you don't do anything else, just try to get the best organic rankings you can, just like we have been doing for many years. Then if you want to try to get those extra AI citations, we can do a little extra work.
So on that, part 1 of the next question is, if you have higher rankings across regular organic Google, does it increase the probability to rank across LLMs?
Yes, at least it's correlated. Correlation is not causation. But one thing that I found really interesting, there's research that shows getting cited in the LLM, the more times you can rank for both the main query and the fan out query, it's kind of like an additive effect that they'll at least cite you once. So the more main queries and fan out queries and related queries you rank for increases your chances of getting cited at least one time.
Okay. So part 2 of this question is, if your ranking of your visibility across LLMs is good, does that mean you are ranking well?
That's an interesting question. Like I heard this example today. If you Google like best CRM software, you'll see all these listicles, right? And like HubSpot, I don't remember who was talking about this today. So
Ethan was mentioned.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. So the ranking is they're looking for a list. But if you ask the LLM who's number 1, HubSpot comes up on top. So it's like the LLM is giving you the direct answer and the organic rankings is giving you the format of the question that you're looking for. So it depends on the question. Yeah.
Why do you think listicles are being cited so much across LLMs right now?
Another very good question. So it's a question format intent. So when someone asks what's best, the listicle meets that intent because they're comparing a bunch of things. And that works for SEO and that works for LLMs. What the LLMs are finding, what Google is finding is that people are now abusing that. So they're kind of like de-emphasizing it, but they're stuck because that's the format that matches the query. So it still works, but we're in this catch-22.
So are you saying that listicles make retrieval faster?
I don't know if they make it faster, but they make it better. It's the best. It's the best format, which is another LLM ranking factor. The best format for the query, and listicles just serve that purpose magically in a way.
And in the long run, do you think it's going to be the similar case with listicles and backlinks and Google saying no to both?
I think they're already talking about that. And let me jump ahead a little bit and say what's even better than a listicle. You can still do a listicle, but state your number 1 reason, explain the evidence of why you chose that, what they're good at and what they're bad at. That's what a lot of listicles are missing, like why you want to choose this. And that's kind of baked into Google's algorithm when you list negative factors and then list all your evidence. And then, go move on to your next one. Instead of just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, really detailed listicle is going to really do well in both LLMs and Google.
What are some common mistakes that GEO or AI or experts possibly are making?
I think a lot of people are just pumping out content, thinking it's going to rank because we're just feeding the LLMs. And when increasingly, that was true at the beginning. You could influence LLMs pretty well that way. just by feeding it information. But now grounding has become so important that they're verifying all the answers. So going back to the traditional SEO, and this is increasing like every week, you have to be an authority in your space. You have to be cited by other people because they just don't trust you. ChatGPT is not going to trust you if you're just pumping out information and not being cited by other sources.
What do you mean by grounding?
Grounding is where, so the LLM has information in its training data. It has an answer, but it needs to verify it with today's standards. So in the old days, chat and the LLMs just spat out an answer. Now they're actively searching the web for information, anything that's happened in the last few months. And it's not so much an LLM anymore, but an intelligence machine that searches the latest information and provides relevant information based on trust and authority and all those traditional SEO things that we're familiar with.
Have you seen any manipulations for influencing LLM results besides listicles?
Yeah, so I run a small directory of agencies, and SEO agencies are really good at manipulating LLMs by producing these listicles and everything. But the reason they're successful in doing that is because there's a void of information. You Google some of these things and there's just nothing there for the LLM to attach onto. So if you can produce that information where there's a void, you're going to win. You're going to get the visibility still, even with obvious manipulation, because your companies generally don't produce enough information about themselves. Their about pages, their team pages, their LinkedIn pages, all these sources are surfaces that the LLMs are going to attach to and generate answers from it.
Coming back to the part of grounding, is that what the grounding effect is, where you are just building more content on third-party sites, but verifying or backing up the claim?
So there's many surfaces that you can optimize there. First of all, your own surfaces about you. And I think most companies are not doing that very well right now. Then there's the third-party sites and the authority sites. But it's like SEO in that there's levels of competitiveness. And for important queries, LLMs don't have a concept of but they have a concept of this is important and I need to research carefully. So I'm only going to go to authoritative sites. So it depends on the competitive level, the importance of the query. But yeah, getting that information out there, but always start with your own site because you can do a lot there just with your own pages.
Some patterns that I have noticed where for certain niches, info from certain platforms gets cited a lot across LLMs and even AI. Like for example, health and beauty related, I have seen citations from Instagram. Then if it's marketing or B2B related, LinkedIn citations come in, and then YouTube is mixed up. Is there any correlation with that?
There are, and every AI engine does it differently. And it's a little hard to keep up with. So I think the best strategy is just try to go for rankings in Google and try to figure out the rest. One hidden source, it's not hidden. Everybody knows it is YouTube. And that's because the AI engines can read the transcript. And those transcripts are a rich source of information, which makes YouTube one of the top sources. So publishing a YouTube video about yourself and making sure that you're presented well in the transcript is a good way to go.
Talking about publishing videos on LinkedIn or any other platform, does entity matters? Meaning, whose channel it is? Is this a person who is influential in the health space? Only then publish health-related content on it, or is it a person who is a known SEO across the internet? Is there any correlation with that?
There is. I don't have any data to back it up, but there seems to be a relationship to that. And again, it goes back to traditional SEO, your EEAT, ranking highly for these queries. Chat has become increasingly suspicious of, random sources over the past year. So it does really help to be a known entity in the space.
To summarize, 3 things that new brands or any SEO working on a new campaign should do if they want to rank consistently or improve their visibility across LLMs. What should 3 basic, most important things that they should follow?
So 1, tighten up your own property. And that is, most people have one about page. I think you need like 7 or 8. One for your about page, your team page, your careers page, your awards page, your press page, customer reviews page. Fill in the list. You should have all of those pages filled out completely with content. It's like filling out a college application because that information just may not exist. And you are the authority on you. So that's number 1. Number 2 is simply rank high on Google for your chosen queries, because that's going to be your way in the door to ranking highly in LLMs. 3, I'm trying to think of some of the more interesting ranking factors that we looked at with LLMs. Content near the top. Lots of studies have shown that when LLMs retrieve your content, they don't retrieve the whole page. There, you have a budget. Dan Petrovic in Australia did some great experiments with Gemini. You have a budget based on how well you rank in the search. If you rank number one, you get so many tokens, and it goes down from there. But the content at the top of your page is most likely to be retrieved. So if you have an answer, an important thing to say about yourself, say it at the top of the page.
Is that for live retrieval, or is it also true for training the model?
That's a good question. I think it mostly applies to grounding.
Okay.
I think for training, they're mostly processing all of it.
My last questions. 100 years from now, probably LLMs are still going to be there. What do you want the LLMs to say about you?
Congratulations for living this long.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it.